All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 94 of the KissFAQ podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, and I'm the admin on the FAQ message board, if you didn't already know that. And joining me today from Boston, hey, brah. Andy.
Hey, what's up? What's up? It's wicked awesome.
69th Blizzard, Ken.
Hello.
And St. Louis Kiss, Lonnie. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving me your time and giving everyone your time. So we're going to pick up a old topic that we've done before, and in my hand that came out of the hat the last time are the topics. So I've got no idea which ones these are now. I'm just going to randomly pick one, and we're going to go with that today. Do we have any news? How's your before the cruise party coming along, Andy?
It's coming on really good. I don't know if anybody, a bunch of people, if they've been keeping up with on the group's side, is Chip from Enough's Enough's going to be there for an hour from 6 to 7.
Nice.
And that was pretty wild, man. So, you know, Lydia Chris is going to be there, and Maria Contessa's going to be there, and Ken Sharp's going to be there. Oh my God, we've got DJ Noise, who been doing the party for the last 4 years, going to be in his 5th year, and plus he's been on the cruise. This year is his second time. He's actually one of the acts, doing his thing on the cruise, and he's not just like a regular DJ, man. He does the whole DJ. It's all Kiss tunes, man. He does all this funky thing, and then when he gets on the cruise, though, he does the whole thing, and then he's going to do some, like heavier metal and stuff. He's going to mix it up because he's playing 4 nights this year. But he brings the drums along too, so he like when the music's going, he's doing a thing, and then he jumps into the drums. It's pretty wild. So good time. Plus podcast Rock City there is going to be there from 4 to midnight doing his thing. Everybody can jump in and stuff, and there's going to be, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
anything, because sometimes some other special guests just show up, and I put the word out there to everybody and anybody basically wants to show up. It's out there, and we never know. Sometimes people just show out of the woodworks. All of a sudden they're like, hey, and it's free.
Yeah,
for everybody.
That sounds like it's going to be a blast. So for everyone.
Mr. Julian, though, we want Julian down there to bring his book so we can sign. Come on, Julian, let's go.
No, I would love to. Thank you kindly, but I have
a Julian signing. That'd be awesome.
No.
He charges a fee just for.
I'll tell you right now.
Don't make direct eye contact with him.
I've got the perfect excuse, Andy. My books are too heavy. I wouldn't be able to bring enough.
Jamil.
Hashtag blessed. The books are too big. I can't bring them.
They're too big. Wouldn't be able to check luggage, EasyJet or whoever. I'd only be able to bring about 10 and, wouldn't work out. So,
well, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot one person. Roman's going to be there too to sign. He's going to have a thing up to sign petition to get Bill O'Coin in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he's going to be there. So,
which reminds me, thank you, because last week I mentioned the petition, and we've got a link up about it on the message board at the moment, but you do not have to pay to sign the petition. You go in, you sign the petition, and then it pops up with you would like to donate to iPetitions, and you're like, sod off, no, cancel, and your signature's there, you're signed. So don't get freaked out by that, rather obnoxious, attempt to get some money that they're doing. It has nothing to do with the petition, the guys doing the petition. It's not them trying to make money out of you. It's the company that hosts the petitions trying to probably cover their operating costs for all these free petitions that people do. So you're not obligated to give anything to them other than the delete key finger. So,
and basically it takes you 5 seconds. You write your name, email, submit. And there's people, and there's going to be people there to actually help you out. If they're going to show you, sit down, do it on a computer. It literally takes you 5 seconds. Your name, email, submit, done. You walk away. It's easy as that. And everybody should sign it. Believe me, before that hotel, I'm getting everybody. I don't care, employees, anybody and everybody to sign that petition.
Yeah, I mean, instead of having Chick or whatever the hell you want to call Nile Rodgers' band getting nominated every year and rejected, how about getting a manager like Bill O'Coin into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? As much as we hate the Hall, let's get some recognition for someone who did something cool. Let's get on to today's topic. Actually, let's just go back 1 second. You mentioned Ken Sharp. is going to be one of your guests, and he's just got a new album out, which check his page out on Facebook. And it sounds like he's hooked up with a European distributor to do kind of a greatest hits LP. This was his 4th album, so some of his favorite songs, and that's just really cool, because Ken's not just an author. You got one?
Yep, I got one.
There it is.
There it is. I got one. Got another. Woohoo. Wrong way up.
Wow.
All right.
And if you like like a 70s kind of vibe, but it's not heavy and it's not like super light, it's kind of an in between. That's the only way I can explain it. I don't know how else. It sounds kind of Beatle-ish.
Yeah, it's melodic power pop. You know, like he writes about, with so many of the influences. I'm thinking Raspberries, some of the early '70s singer-songwriter stuff. I mean, people who know power pop better than me would be able to rattle off a whole bunch of names. But it's it's some cool stuff. For Kiss related, this is a guy who's done a lot for the Kiss community, and his contributions continue. So if you give him a listen, give him a chance, that's always cool. All right, so. Let's get into today's, and there you are, advertising.
Yep, shop.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to know what topic came up?
What's the topic?
I love being put on the spot.
Yeah, so it's either going to be yay, or it's going to be forget it, Julian, choose another. All right, have you ever met any members of the band? Did meeting them change your personal opinion of them for better or worse? Or who would you most like to meet? And under what circumstances? Now, there's going to be nothing about oil and butter with Vinnie Vincent in a tent in the woods, for meeting anyone under any circumstances. So we want to stay out of that realm of things. If you got any kinky dreams, don't want to know them.
Well, I'll talk to you guys next week.
Gosh.
Lonnie's Paul and butter, right? Paul.
That's why I said it. Well, I'm out.
All right, so let's go. I mean, Andy, I already know that right now you've met some members of the band. So, did meeting. I'm thinking one in particular that you mentioned recently. Change your opinion of them. Let's start with you.
Wow. Was good or bad? Well, oh my God, I've met everybody, so it's not like I haven't met somebody, so that's out of the question with that. Who I'd like to actually meet again is really...
Or which one of those guys that you met, did they change your opinion of them when you met them? Were you expecting one thing, and when you actually met them, you're like, oh, or oh, depending on your perspective?
The first, Eric Howe was always cool. I heard he was always cool when I met him. Fantastic, more than fantastic, over the world. So Eric Howe was always cool. Bruce Kulick, met him when I met him. Always cool, still always cool, top notch, no problem. And Gene, everybody sometimes gives Gene a bad rap. Oh, he's got a bad day. This and that. Every time I've ever met Gene or talked to Gene or whatever it was, it's always been top notch. There's never been a problem with Gene. Wow, Tommy was just, he was nice, just quiet and nice. There was no issues or nothing like that. Ace Frehley is he's as we all know, he's a little hard of hearing, so you got to talk up a little bit louder. And he basically does the thumbs up kind of thing, and there's not really much talk with him, so it's too bad that he couldn't hang out and talk more and hang out with Ace. That would be one of my big things. I did hang out with him one time behind stage, and he was really cool. When you get I think when you get him in that spot where he's really good about it, it's really good. You know what I mean? There are other times that a lot of times he's just sitting there and he gives a thumbs up, sign stuff, and it's time to move on. Paul. Okay, Paul was the first time I've ever met Paul. I was a little bit taken back, because it's got this, the big thing about them. He was a little taken back. It seemed very kind of, I don't know. It wasn't like he was bad, but it wasn't like, it was like the high thing for me. I don't know what it is. But then when I made him to sing the casket piece years later, it was a whole different experience. He was very, outgoing about it. Hi, how you doing? Thank you. Da da da. So it was very good. Peter Chris, the first time I met him, awful. He changed my perspective on him for the longest time. When Peter did his solo, back in the day when he went out solo and did his solo stuff, the last day of the tour was in the Boston area, and we went. A bunch of us went, and it was cold. It was like in the January. It was like a thaw down here. It was like -30 here. It was like really, really cold. And we went to go see the last night, and he's playing these little drum things, and he said, "Oh, this is the best thing that Gene Simmons ever gave me." And he's like playing and she on him. So the little bit of the sticking started happening, and then after the show, we had to like run around the whole building, and there was a tour bus, and we're sitting out there, we're all freezing, and there was probably about 20 of us there, and the first thing is that the back door opens up, because I had never been to the place, so other people had seen other shows there and seen other people, so they used to know where they come out. Well, Peter opens the door, or they open the door, and Peter comes out the doorway, and the first thing he does looks down, and everybody goes, like that, oh boy, here we go, and walks down the stairs with one of the other guys in the band. So next to him, he walks down, and everybody just kind of parts the seats and let him walk through. We figure, oh, he's gonna stop, say nothing. He starts walking, he gets into the bus, takes one or two steps in the bus, and finally somebody yells out, "Hey Peter, you gonna hang out with us and this and that?" And the guy turned around and said, "Peter's not gonna hang around. Just go home, get out of here, and this and that." So, and then Peter just kind of turned around and gave everybody kind of that look, like, just go away, He went in the bus, came out about 15 minutes later, jumped into a car and split. So this is before you could actually, this is back then, and that really crushed me because, as much as I love Ace and then the whole Peter, man, come on, this is the guy who was in the band, started it all, and nobody ever really got to see him that much because he was always hidden, you never really saw him, and then when you see him, and that crushed me for years. I was so upset, and I'm like, oh, this guy I never want to meet again. Because, it's like one of those things you're afraid to meet your star because they'll crush you and that'll be it. And that crushed me for years. I didn't want to even think about I was even afraid if it came up that it would come up that if I ever got the chance to meet Peter again, I don't know if I wanted to go do it because it just made me think of that thought back. Oh, man, I got crushed years ago, So, but then what ended up happening is that he did have a thing at one of these horror expos about 5 years ago around here. And I went, and you go up and you line up, and I couldn't believe it. Actually, first he was at an expo in New Jersey, I think like 2 weeks before that. And he was down there, and he was all happy and giggly, and he actually stood beside me. I don't know, I was just standing there. I was kind of like dressed up because they had a contest, and he was the judge, and I'm just standing against the wall. And then Peter come over and stood next to me. It was just freak thing about it. And he started talking to me, and I'm like, I can't believe this. This is the guy who was kind of a long time ago, and now he's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? You look pretty cool." And I'm sitting here going, "Oh my God, this is it's done like a 180." You know what I mean? Or 160. It was just amazing,
160.
So, yeah, I know.
Yeah, with cats, you never know whether you're gonna get hugging and nuzzling or a scratchy bleedy. So cats are special.
Is it a cat thing? Because
yeah, one time they're nuzzling you, and the next they're ripping your eyes out. So you never know what a cat's going to do to you.
Yeah, and even like the first time, even Eric Singer, he's I mean, he go to the expos. You met him down in the coffee house and this that, and he's had early days because when he was in Kiss and then he got boom out of Kiss, he wasn't exactly happy about it. So he would go to conventions kind of, and he would tell them, he goes, "Man, I was in the band, they let me go." He was all mad at them, but he's explaining this to people, at the convention. So now you look at this guy going, wow, he's kind of, So I guess it all depends on the day and time you meet everybody,
Yeah, and the mood, and one thing I've noticed a lot with what people have said about their interactions, particularly with Paul, is sometimes he gets a vibe from you and can be very standoffish. So he's got like this aura around him that I think is about 3 feet in diameter. And when you step in that zone, he's either going to read you as, okay, you're all right, I like you, I'm going to talk to you, or I'm not too sure about you, talk to the hand. So And even though it's kind of like the business of socializing in these meet and greets, he still has his zone of safety, I guess. I don't know really how to put it into words completely, of where he reads a person and judges them a little bit as to whether he's going to be comfortable interacting with you and how he's going to be comfortable interacting with you. And obviously he's had to put up with a lot of weird people throughout his career, so I totally get that.
Yeah, and I think it's a respect thing. You gotta approach them in a ways that's cool. You can't be just jumping on them. Give me this, give me that, give me an autograph. Oh, I want the picture with you. And basically every time even if you met them before, basically you just say, when it's the right time, you just say, hi, how you doing? And, you go from there and see how it is, because, like you and I, we go to work every day, or we do something. We don't know what you've done all day. You don't know if you had a good day or a bad day or whatever kind of day you have. And I only missed one other one, Mark St. John. I met Mark St. John twice, and he was fine. At the Expos, he went to before he passed away, Expos, and he was fine. So he was all happy and dappy and stuff like that.
Lonnie,
but for the most part, meeting most of them, or all of them basically in a way, I say 98% of the time was fine. Or 94, 95, give or take.
Well, how dreadfully boring. I mean, they didn't punch you out or, have you escorted out by security. I mean, that's just a total fail with panelist number 1. So let's move on to panelist number 2 and see if he was arrested or exited by security. Lonnie, let's go to you on this one.
I've met everybody, I guess, except Vinny. I guess Vinny, Mark St. John, and Eric Carr. I didn't meet either of them, but the one that surprised me, though, I would say the most, is Peter Criss, and that I've always heard stories of Peter being, that Peter can be very standoffish and not sign, especially if you run into him somewhere that he won't sign. And a buddy of mine, he said he literally had to chase Peter down, and Peter was literally running away from him, like something out of like a Beatles movie. You know what I mean? And when he finally got him, and he got Peter to sign his old Kiss lunchback from the 70s. I mean, it doesn't even look like Peter Criss. It just looks like 2 lines, just like a scribble, "Leave me alone." So when I met Peter finally, I was really curious to see how his mood would be. And I met him at one of those horror expos that he's been doing the last few years. And we drove up because he was doing one in Chicago, so we drove up there to meet him. And, he stood in line, and you got your couple minutes with him, and he signed, and I guess he's in a little bit of a better mood because, I'm paying for each autograph too. That doesn't hurt your mood when here comes this schmuck and he has 3 or 4 things for you to sign, and I'm making $40-$50 off each one of these. That'd cheer me up too if I was making that kind of cash doing that. So, but he was very nice. I have to say he was in a great mood. I had him sign my leg like I have the other members that I met, of the band that I met, and I have a rock and roll over cat on my right calf, and he signed underneath that. And he signed it it almost looks fake. I'll post a picture on the FAQ of it. It almost looks fake because he signed it so nice. And I've seen a lot of sloppy Peter Criss autographs, and it almost looks too perfect the way he signed it and the way he drew the little drum head next to it. It looks really perfect. And he was kind of joking with me when he was signing it. He goes, I need to make some money off of this too. I should have my own tattoo artist sitting over here in the corner for all you tattoo guys that come through here. I can make a little money off of this too. So, he was in a great mood and just kind of joking around with me, which kind of caught me by surprise because I've heard everything I've heard about Peter's. He's a dick and he'll run from you and he doesn't like the sign. He's this and he's that. But it was right after his book came out too, and he was just super nice. And I told him, Peter, I loved your book as well. I hope so. I worked my ass off on that book. All right.
I got one question for you on that. And did you tell him before he signed it that you were going to have it tattooed?
I think he knew because I had shorts on and you could see the other signatures on my legs, so he knew what I was doing.
So a little more attention to detail because it's
and it was underneath. And it was underneath a Peter Criss cat rock and roll over on my legs. I mean, he knew what I was doing. So he really took his time. He goes, well, I'll, make sure I do this right, and he, like sat down and I, propped my leg up so he could really just trace it and really make it look really nice. So which was really cool of him to do. I mean, he didn't have to make as much time and detail into it as what he did, because he knew what I was doing and he did it right. So I couldn't have been happier meeting him the one time I've met him.
Yeah, he could have gotten halfway through and said, "This is taking too long. You're gonna have to pay up."
This is boring. Yeah, you have to pay double for this because I'm losing money. I'm losing money here. I could be signing more autographs.
$5 an inch.
Right. So the one time I met Peter, that was one that took me by surprise the most, because I was the most skeptical about meeting him.
Before we go on to any other ones, I want to echo that sentiment. I was expecting Peter to be a nightmare when I met him. After everything I'd heard some things on the tour from other people, and this was 2003 World Domination meet and greet, so it was very early on in the meet and greets that the band were doing anyway. And I was like, oh, what's he going to be like? And I've said it before that he was the coolest one of the guys that night. And I had the most interaction with him. It wasn't very long, obviously, though there weren't 80 people back there like there are nowadays. He was just an absolute sweetheart. I mean, he was just so humble. He was so appreciative. He was really, really nice, positive, generous. And, I had the great, and even all these years on, I still have a really positive memory of that one brief interaction with him and sharing a joke with him and, kind of joking about Gene and the view of the truth. And, it was so cool. So Peter Criss gets a lot of stick, and I'm sure he's had his bad days. I don't doubt, you don't get that many stories about someone, unless some of them are true, and no doubt some of them are embellished. But for me, I was going in there expecting the Ayatollah Criscola, and instead I got Cat Stevens, basically. It really cool. Before we go back to you, Lonnie, I want to get Ken in on the conversation on one of his. So, if he has any, you ever met anyone?
The only time is I've done it or met them. Are the four from the Revenge era. That was for a meet and greet for the Alive 3 promotion. So I was able to get one of those little tickets to go see them there. And the problem there is I didn't have enough time to chat. They were pushing us through so quickly that I think I swept by Gene and Bruce and Paul really quick. On the last one, Eric, I was actually able to at least say, I enjoy, hey, I loved your drumming on Revenge. I thought it was, just fantastic. And he was, like, oh, thanks, man, I appreciate it. You telling me that and so on. So that was the only really conversation I had with any of them. And that was super short. I mean, they were pushing us through, like, go, go, go. They didn't give us any time to, chat, say really anything other than hello, thank you or whatever. So that was it. So I haven't done any of the other meet and greets, but my plan is the next time, hopefully this next time that they come through Northern California, I'm definitely going to do the meet and greet.
Next time, buddy. I'm
going to go.
I'm doing it.
We'll both be there.
Wow.
We'll
Two
go.
guys there.
So that's it. So I have no other story of meeting any of them and talking or having a great, thing happen with them. Otherwise,
hey, but
just getting signatures really.
But in terms of cool, you did an Alive 3 meet and greet.
Yeah,
that's pretty freaking cool for me.
I was one of the lucky ones to get it.
How did the tickets work for that situation? Was it through radio or something?
They mentioned it on the Headbangers Ball, I believe, from what I remember, that there was going to be something in if you bought the Alive 3 CD that, at the record store, if you were one of the first ones, you'd, get this pass, Alive 3 pass. I still have it. It was like a sticker. It peeled off and I forget what it said, but and that's how they said it. They announced it on Headbangers Ball, from what I remember. And then, so the first thing I did is when it came out, it was like it was probably a Tuesday morning, and I went to Tower Records right when they opened, and I said, okay, I grabbed my CD and got down to the register, and the guy, I said, hey, I'm supposed to get is there a ticket for the meet and greet thing, a Live 3? He's like, huh? And so he had to ask another guy. And oh crap! I was like, oh crap, one of those things. So like, oh, and so anyway, yeah, he got it, and he gave me one, and I told my buddy to come down too, and he came down there, and so we went together down there. But that's how it worked, and then we just went to a spot. It was in San Francisco, I believe, or something like that. That we went and waited in line. But again, they shoved us through the lines so quick.
Yeah, I did the same thing here, and basically what they did is you had to buy the Live 3 when it came out on May 18th, and basically you had to tell the people behind the thing that you wanted to get this pass.
Right.
Ken was saying this little brown pass, and you had to give them a penny to get the pass.
Oh, yes.
It was some kind of weird. It was like a secret thing. You were like, here's the penny. Can I have the pass, please? And
that's right. I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah. So I made sure I had at least a penny in my pocket, so I could
twice.
turn over to the guy.
Like Rhode Island and once in the Boston. Actually, it's pretty funny, and it was like thousands upon thousands of people. And like Ken said, you basically went there and they just shuffled you through. There were no pictures allowed to a certain point. They stopped. You could take pictures from far away, but as soon as you got like 20 feet, they're like, off with the cameras. You stand here. Don't talk to them, and just
don't make direct eye contact with them.
I got a couple of pictures. I know I do.
It was that quick.
Jesus. What were they doing? Standing with cans of Raid in case you looked at them the wrong way?
They start spraying you. You mace out. They start spraying you.
The one I did in Strawberries down in Rhode Island was a little bit better. They slowed down because actually I used to play bass, and I had a white pearl, like a pearl bass, and I said, "Wow, that'd be cool. I think I'm gonna bring that." So I brought it with me, not knowing if they'd sign it or not. But when I got down there, when I got in line, I'm like, and they're like, "What do you want on it?" And they grabbed it from me, and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna have the guy sign it, but I want to be there." Like, no, because they were like moving ahead before you got there, so the stuff was getting signed before you actually got to them, and I'm like,
weird.
And I'm like, I forgot how the order went. I got the bass on the wall over here. I got to take a picture. I'll get a post-it or whatever. But it's on. Anyways, so maybe like 2 or 3 people are in front of me, and my bass is in some dude's hand, and I'm going, oh my God, please be careful with this thing, right? Next, it's down on the table, and if I forgot who signed it for us, but I know Gene was at the end. That's because. And next thing I'm getting there, and I got to, I don't know, it was either Bruce or Eric first, and then I'm like, hi, and you want to talk to them as you're going down as much as you can, but I'm watching my bass out of the corner of my eye going, already down, now it's down to Gene, and I'm like, down to Paul and Gene, I'm like, sign slow, please, sign slow!
Take your time.
Take your time, please! Paul looks up, okay, and Paul does this nice, and I'm like, and then Gene gets to it, I'm like, I'm getting there, because you want to say hi to the rest of the guys. You just don't want to go running. You just want to go running down the thing. I finally get to Gene. Gene's playing with it now. Now Gene's picked it up, and I want it, since it's in pearl, I want it all in black. Oh no, Gene's got to do his own thing. It's got a blue on it.
It's got to be different.
He's like, I'm like, but he picks it up, starts playing. Hey, this is kind of nice, and now I'm got the shivers going on because now he's picking it up and playing. I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So cool. But it's just like, okay, here's your bass, get out. I just waited in the line for 4 hours.
I could just see it. Double doors at the end. Shove the guys in the back.
Shove them out the door.
All right, but what do you expect for a penny, right? You get what you paid for.
Yeah, I know. A penny.
A penny's worth of their time. But Ken, I want to go back to you. Who would you most like to meet, and under what circumstances? Then, out of the and it can be anyone. It doesn't have to be out of just the guys in the current lineup. Who would be? No, that's not about me.
Yeah, I didn't meet you.
Yeah, we didn't even meet at that last record show, and there's another one coming up.
I know we didn't.
November 16th.
Missed each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one.
Which I can't go to.
Well, I don't know if I'm I'd like to meet Gene in some kind of circumstance. He's always been the guy for me since the beginning. I've always been a Gene fan, and of course, he's gone through the ups and downs of his, songwriting through the career, but that doesn't matter to me. I just always, I don't know, somehow I identified a little bit with him, except for the BS marketing stuff that he's always, on the marketing, we're coming out with this, later this year and so on. And, but I'd like to meet him in some circumstance somewhere. I don't know how, just to, shoot this shit or whatever. And just talk on a level, maybe talk music. I don't know. I don't know how that would ever happen. It's just kind of one of those, like crossing paths somewhere. Like he was somewhere in the area that I was at, and I saw him, and maybe he'd chat for a little bit or something. But that's about it. It'd be kind of cool. Otherwise, like I said, I'm just going to have to wait until probably the meet and greet next time they come around.
Yeah, and I dread the next meet and greet because I'm going to compare it to 2003, 2004, which was obviously...
They're not the same.
They're not the same anymore. And I don't really care about the acoustic side. I mean, I just want to,
Sure.
actually show up with one of the recent books and have them sign it, and this time not put it up on eBay, because everything I've ever had them sign, I've gotten rid of. It hasn't had any emotional attachment at the time until after the fact, when I'm like, holy shit, what did you do, you idiot?
Why did I do that?
Why did I do that? So it'll be one of those things that hopefully that won't get me escorted out by security, but it's going to be really different. I think with Gene, if you know a lot about comics or horror movies,
I love comics.
Those are kind of like the topics that he he's still his inner 14-year-old as well. I mean, that seems to carry through to a lot of us, that he still has a great deal of interest in that. So, hopefully they come out and, we can do that Mountain View or Concord. I don't want to have to go to San Jose or Sacramento. That's just too damn far. But,
right.
If they do come out, I probably will, because I'm thinking it'll be the last time next year. Very
likely.
If they do. Lonnie, let's go back to you. Who else have you met?
I met Ace Frehley. I met Ace a few times. I met him a couple times at those horror convention things. And then I met him once he did a show here at Pops in 2008, and a buddy of mine figured out what hotel Ace was staying at. We're trying all day to meet Ace. We couldn't get him. But a buddy of mine made friends with one of his roadies, and we figured out what hotel he was staying at. So this is a great story. So as soon as the show was over, he goes to me and goes, I know what hotel he's at. So he goes, as soon as the show's over, meet me in the parking lot. So I was like, all right. So as soon as the show's over, like a minute they're off stage, we bolt out of there. And he goes, he's staying at the Westin Hotel right next to Busch Stadium, which is just on the other side of the road. So I was like, all right. So we get in our cars, drive across the bridge, park in the stadium garage next to the stadium, walk into the Westin Hotel, sweaty and shit, because we were just standing in this crowd for 3 hours, and we were like, and it's like it's like midnight, we're walking in there, here come it's my buddy and his girlfriend and me and my girlfriend, and we're like, turn your kids shirts inside out so we don't look like fans walking in here, so we just look like,
oh no.
So we have like black t-shirts on and come walking in there. Oh yeah, just hanging out downtown St. Louis, hey, let's go to the bar and get a drink. So we go to the bar and get a drink. Meanwhile, we got shit in our hands that we want them to sign. But,
right.
We're real incognito. But we think, oh, this is great. We're good. So we're hanging out there. And I used to work security at Busch Stadium back in the day. And I knew what entrances they would bring the ball players around back to when they were coming back from the stadium after the game. So I was telling my buddy, I go, he's going to come in through this door right here. He goes, how do you know? I go, I'm just telling you. This is where he's going to come in at. So this is where we're going to kind of congregate. So a little while later, this minivan comes pulling up, missing a rear view mirror on one side, a dent in the other side, And he goes, well, this isn't him. Pulls up, sliding door opens up, and he comes stumbling off. We're like, no way. And it's just the four of us. There's no one else around. He comes walking in, and he sees us, and we're getting our shit ready, and he goes, all right, just one apiece. You know, my buddy had him sign his gold record destroyer. I had him sign my leg, of course. And my girlfriend had him sign something for me, and his girlfriend had him sign something. He goes, all right, thanks. And off he went. And I was like, wow, I was really freaking lucky.
That's still totally cool. I mean,
it was unbelievable. I'm like, we're the only ones there. And you go, okay, one apiece, and off he goes. It was like,
yeah, he could have gone blowing through you with his finger up, saying, "Forget it," you know.
But he kind of looked around. And he's like, "There's no one else. All right, I can stop for a second."
Yeah, I could
how
suffer
the hell
these
did
two
you track
couples.
me down here?
Yeah.
That's
Who
awesome.
the hell blew the whistle where I was at? So no, he was really cool. And the other times I met him at the horror conventions, you know, like Andy is saying, he's kind of hard of hearing. He just kind of sits there and signs and poses with the picture and gives you the thumbs up, and off you go. You know, but he was really cool though. Like he could have been. There was no one around for him. You know that he could have been a dick that night and just said, "No, I'm not signing." You know, how the hell did you guys find me here? You guys know way too much anyway. Get the hell out of here. But he was super nice, so I gotta give him that.
That's
And,
that's a nice one.
Yeah, it was cool. And then I met Paul at a few meet and greets, and I met him. I'm a real sucker. If you guys haven't noticed by watching the shows as much as you have, I bought one of those paintings back in 2007.
Oh, I got a story. I got a story after you tell.
2007, 2008, when he was selling those paintings for a couple of grand. So I get to meet Paul Stanley. So yeah, I'm gonna do this. I splurged on that, and so I go, and the same buddy of mine, he did the same thing. He bought Paul Stanley painting, and he's going to meet him too that night. So we're standing in line, and I was like, we tried to meet him at the radio. He did like an interview at the radio station that morning. We tried meeting him in the morning, and he kind of dodged us, and we missed him that morning. So, but we still brought a couple things with us to the art gallery that we're going to have him sign that night. And I got this big Kiss scrapbook in my hand that I had made, and like newspaper clippings and reviews and anything from any time I've ever seen or done anything with the band from like my childhood up until that time. And he has these security guys going up and down the line. They're like, he's not signing anything. And it's like, all right. And he looks at this book I have in my hand. He goes, what's that? I go, it's my Kiss scrapbook. He goes, well, he's not signing that. And I go, all right, well, that's fine. I said, I just want to show it to him. And what's he going to say at that point? He's kind of just like screwed. So I get up to meet Paul, and I'm nervous as can be, shake his hand, but I'm dressed really nice. I came from work, I'm kind of dressed up a little bit, clean cut. He can tell I'm a decent guy, but he also can tell I'm probably just like in freaking awe of him at the same time. So, he's talking about the painting, and he looks at this big book in my hand. He goes, what's that? I go, this is my Kiss scrapbook. I said everything I've ever done with the bands in here, like with my meet and greets, and I plaster my pictures on my walls when I was a kid. Plaster my walls with newspaper clippings, or not newspaper clippings, like magazines I cut up. And, these are like shows I've gone to, and he goes, this is really cool. He goes, where can I sign this at? And I wanted just to look at the security guy and go, fuck you, dude. So he goes to the front of the book. And again, he could have just wrote Paul Stanley. And he goes, what's your name? And I go, Lonnie. He goes, to Lonnie, a true and underlines true fan, Paul Stanley. I'm like, that is awesome.
That is awesome.
So that's my favorite Paul story. He was just so, and then of course I had him, and then I'm shaking his hand, and I go, Paul, can I ask you one more favor? And he goes, absolutely. And there's a picture of this of me shaking Paul's hand and me talking, and my brother's in the background. My brother's like, oh my God, I know what he's going to ask him. And I go, will you sign my leg? He goes, my brother's just like, I can't believe he's really going to ask him that. And Paul goes, and I lift up my pant leg and see the star emblem on my leg, and Paul goes, oh yeah, absolutely. So Paul gets down on one knee and has me put my foot up on his knee.
Oh wow.
And it's like, how humbling is that? Paul Stanley's down on one knee and I got my leg on top of him. It's like, Paul could, I guess Paul could just tell I was like in such freaking awe of him that he'd do anything I asked him to do, or like almost.
Because you just bought a painting.
And I just spent a couple grand on a painting, so like, and that's what me and my buddy were saying too. I just spent a couple grand on a painting. He's not going to tell me no if I ask him to sign something. I guarantee it. So, well, that's my good Paul story. Andy, you got to say you had a good one about the art gallery.
Now I'm going to make Lonnie a bum. Anyway, they had the same thing here, the Wentworth Gallery in Boston, right? And so all these people waiting to get in, and I know this is going to break some people's hearts, and I'm going to either get yelled at about this one or whatever, but it's only the truth and nothing but the truth. Anyways, there's stack loads of people lined up to get in, and it's things, so they only let so many in because it's a small gallery, the Wentworth in the mall, because it was actually, the Wentworth is in the mall. So anyways, people are getting in, and the paintings are on the wall. Well, actually, technically they weren't the paintings, they were like copies of the paintings, and they're not, the real paintings are behind, or they're put somewhere in a corner separate. And they had Paul like in a little corral in the back, like a little picket fence area. And he was standing and he was kind of like in the back room, but he wouldn't come out. So people are like all there wandering around, and they're standing there looking. They know he's there in the back, but he wouldn't come out. And then somebody says, then all of a sudden you see everybody get out. And then, so all of a sudden, next they're pushing everybody out. And next there was this handicap guy comes out with somebody was watching him or something. So and I guess Paul like freaked out about the kid or something. So they like had to move everybody out and then get that guy out before they would get everybody back in. Paul wanted that guy to leave. And everybody's like, what? So it was just kind of bizarre. And then when everybody went in again to start poking around, Paul comes out and he's like looking around, and then he was turning his back on everybody. And the announcers or the people kept saying, if you're not going to buy a painting, if you're just looking around, because he started getting packed. Nobody was leaving because Paul's just standing there, either half turned or he would turn his back. And they're like, unless you're going to buy a painting, you're not going to meet Paul. You're not going to have anything signed. It's leave, because nobody was leaving for a while. Then after a while, people gave up. People were like, I'm out of here. This is just kind of stupid after a couple of hours. So a couple of people had bought paintings. You see Paul, doing the whole thing like Lonnie was doing that, right? It's all good. And so by the end of the night, I'm standing here, and Lonnie, I have an old friend of mine. He's like, you are Lonnie, man. He'll do anything for Paul. Let's put it this way. That's his man, So he's there with his son, and his son had never met Paul, and he's always talked about Paul. So he's got his son, and literally, Paul is literally 5 feet from them. There's 20 people, no lie. There's about 20 people left in the Weinreich, and he's not signing. And Paul grabs the microphone and says, "Hey, I love everybody coming here. Thank you. This is all about my paintings. I'm not going to sign nothing but painting. So if you can't buy a painting, you're not going to get anything signed. And besides, there's too many people here. Everybody like turned around and looked back at him, and somebody yells out, "Paul, there's like 20 people here left." So at that point, my friend and his son, basically, they're like crying now. I mean, they're literally 5 feet from Paul, and they're like almost crying in tears, and they're just like this, going like puppy dogs waiting. So I walked out. And now, when you walk out of the thing, it's on the second floor of the mall. So next time I go to stand, I'm standing next to there waiting for basically the gallery now gonna close, right? So I'm standing there waiting, and this guy's standing beside me, and this guy starts talking to me. He goes, "Oh, how you like this?" I go, "Oh, it's interesting, it's cool, but I have no idea who this dude is." So I'm like, yeah, it would be kind of cool though if Paul, let go a little bit and sign some things for here and there. I mean, look, there's only 15, 20 people left, and it's about ready to close, and everybody's gonna have to leave. And the guy's talking, yeah, but he's really here for his paintings. But I go, well, let's put it this way: if it wasn't for Kiss, he wouldn't be here anyways, because nobody would buy his stuff. Seriously, I told this guy, nobody would buy this guy's stuff because they wouldn't know it would be Paul Stanley, right? He's just like it would be like a regular artist off the street trying to sell this stuff. You know what I mean?
Trying to peddle it, yeah.
Yeah. So, and next time, like, this guy comes, he goes, "You know who I am?" And I go, "No, I thought you were just a guy hanging around waiting for somebody to come up." He goes, "No, I'm the guy who follows Paul around. He's every Wentworth gallery. I'm his right-hand man."
Security.
His artwork sucks.
So I told the guy, I'm like, well, you should try to get Paul to loosen up a little bit more, don't you think? And the guy goes, well, I'll probably try to talk to Paul, but it's something in the contract that he can only, do stuff with the Wentworth stuff, and he can only sign it. I'm like, okay, I understand that, then yeah, I understand that. But it was just, I was like, one of those moments you go, uh-oh.
That's funny.
Blacklist! Bing, 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 bing. So it was, I was like, ugh. But, thank God it wasn't one of my top favorite guys, because I would have been crushed. No offense, Lonnie, but it was.
That's all right. Yeah.
If you were the guy on the shoulder and you were there, you would have been crying. You'd be like, oh no.
That is too funny. Okay, who would I like to meet, and under what circumstances? I think what could be really fun, and maybe if anyone ever gets the chance to do this, would be to get Tommy and Eric on a sit down, on a podcast, and just talk to them about being a Kiss fan in the 70s and them growing up, because both of them saw Kiss very early on in Kiss's career. I mean, I would love to talk to them, starting with that as the discussion. You saw Kiss in the 70s, and then go through their musical journeys of what they discovered and kind of the stuff that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot when you do hear from them. We know they like Deep Purple and a lot of the big 70s bands, but I want to know, who else did they go and see? What circumstances? When did they really start, doing the music side? We know a little bit about Movie Star for Tommy, morphing into Black and Blue. But what are they coming from musically? What was grabbing them? And where did their Kiss fandom, level off or disappear as they became professional musicians? Did they continue to follow Kiss? I mean, I would love to know if Tommy bought Lick It Up, for instance. And as a guitarist, what he thought about that compared to Ace's music, from an objective and musical perspective, not as playing the role of the spaceman in Kiss, but as a fan of music. I would really love to go deeper into those sorts of things. And with Eric, I mean, Jesus, Eric is he's a book unto himself. I'd love to talk to him about Gary Moore, working with him, the challenges there, the Alice Cooper stuff. I mean, there's just so much with him, and Leader and Tony, all that early stuff. I'd love to get more into his, the bands he was with in Cleveland, the bands that he played with in California. I think Iceman, or I don't know off the top of my head anymore. How the gig with Olivia Newton-John in that video came about. There's just so much. And also for Eric, I mean, did he, as a drummer, did he buy, like Creatures of the Night? And what did he think about the drumming on that and the production of the drum sound? So the same thing that I've just said about Tommy with Vinny for Lick It Up, what does Eric think as a Kiss fan, not just as a drummer, about the albums after the original era? I just think that could be some of the coolest stuff, because it's not about them and Kiss, it's about them and music. And it'd be nice to approach talking to them from a different kind of perspective than we usually hear. So, I just think they're two fans living the dream anyway. So,
book.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I want the dirt from Bruce Kulick, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Someday,
I don't think you will ever get the dirt from Bruce. He just, I've got to remember the first time I interviewed anyone related to Kiss was Bruce at I think it was the 99 or 2000, I can't remember which, Indie Expo, and that was set up by Keith, so thank you again all these years on. And I went up to Bruce's room, we sat down, I got my tape recorders out, and, did the interview. And there was a couple of times that I asked questions that he perceived as having a negative slight on the band. And even though he's out of the band and had kind of been dumped unceremoniously for the reunion, he was, whoa, bring it back around. No, it's not like that. Very supportively defensive. I don't want to say defensive because that sounds like it's negative, but he really said, no, it's nothing like that. And he just so damn nice. I mean, Bruce is awesome, If you want to put a happy look on your face, you're down in the dumps, you don't need cold gin. Look at a picture of Bruce. I mean, and just shit. I mean, does does he ever say a bad word about anything? No.
But in a good
or anyone.
Even if he did a book on all good stuff, not bad stuff, wouldn't you love to hear all that stuff that happened when he, like when he first? I mean, you used to hear the little stories how it got started. But I mean, it'd be kind of cool to hear all the the tour stuff. I mean, you see some videos from the asylum. It looks like they were having a blast.
Oh, forget Asylum. I want to talk about Andrea True. I want to know about, touring with Meatloaf. I want stories from the road. Yeah. I want to know about Blackjack playing live. That's the side of things that I think would be really interesting. But that shit doesn't sell, unfortunately. It's got to be about Kiss. I mean, look at Peter Criss in his book. There was so little about the Barracudas or the Brotherhood, the Vintage, Nautilus, Inc., whatever. Any of those bands. So little. And he was like the leader. I mean, he was the one on the paperwork, and there was nothing. Because, for the most part, people don't want to know about that, unfortunately. People want to know about Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and Peter Criss telling them what a bunch of dicks they are. Because that, unfortunately, is what sells. People from Bruce are going to want to know about Kiss. They're not going to want to know, for the most part. I mean, obviously, the people like us who hang out on message boards and do podcasts are exceptions. So where I can say I want to know about all that stuff, other people would be like, that's going to bore me to tears like your books, man.
Now, Ken just mentioned earlier, now that you mentioned it, Ken said he was into comic books.
Yeah.
They just, I think today, was it today or yesterday? They released
yeah.
Yeah, now you hear?
Yeah. The new ones.
15 or 18 copies of the first series.
I ordered some, a couple.
Are you
couple
insane?
of the first, and then a second and a third, the second and third edition. But that's I'm not gonna get every cover. That's
like 18 or is it 15? Something 15 or 18.
I heard it was 17, but again, it's comic books.
That's insane.
So I know there are people that can buy them all, but I can't do it.
That's just taking the Mickey. I mean, I can understand doing 4 covers for the 4 characters,
right.
But 18, that's just like,
One of them is a coloring book, they said.
What?
The cover.
Yeah, it's like it's just black and white,
Yeah, you color with coloring book.
No, so now they're too cheap to use ink.
It saved money.
Oh, there is some.
You're still going to pay the same price.
That's right.
There is kind of Kiss news. I don't know if you heard the Kiss mini golf. Christina and them, they're doing the first Kissmas annual. Now they said annual Kissmas
Eric
party.
and Tommy, yeah.
Yeah, December 3rd.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I think it is.
You could buy a VIP for $250, but they're only going to be 50, so you get to sit with them and the people that are, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the shareholders. The shareholders plus them plus whatever it is, 50 people. Only 50 tickets are being sold for that special pod. Plus you get a bunch of other stuff, I guess. And then anybody can come to whenever they do the rest of the stuff.
Sure.
There's a Rockin' Brews opening in St. Louis in November, and they said the grand opening is supposed to be in January when Gene and Paul are going to be there. So
you're going, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll take the phone along. We can I can post a video or something.
There you go.
Fast selfie.
Yeah.
No, as we've kind of done that topic already, LA Kiss, any tears for that?
Not really.
I gave it 5 years. Well, didn't even get that far.
Didn't make it that long.
How many seasons had it? Was it 2014 that got going? So it made it through 3. Just 2.
3.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Well, the whole league is going down the drain. I think there's only 5 teams left, they say now.
Yeah, so someone was joking that people were going to get their refunds through excess merchandise.
Oh.
And they were joking, I'm sure, that you're not getting refunds anyway. So, yeah.
I think I saw a post. Paul had did a Twitter and somebody think that people were going to get the refunds.
Yeah, they'll take care of, it's business. They'll take care of people. Yeah. But, I got to say, it was cool seeing those concerts that they did, in the stadium. But I don't have a feel for AFL. It's outside of my sporting kind of,
They did put
I love sport. I love sports, but I can't do arena football.
They did put a lot into it, though. You got to give it to them. They really tried.
Did. And they had good giveaways, too, to try to get at least Kiss fans in the area there with those bobbleheads that they did and things like that. To try to get butts in the seats. I'll give them that.
Yeah, but AFL to me seems, akin to competitive street ball, stickball, that you used to play growing up on the streets, or, roller hockey. It's just, I don't know.
No, it's just not my thing.
Not NFL.
And now that LA's got a football
or college.
Because they should know better. That they know that people like Andy just want to go see Tom Brady. Go see a real athlete.
Oh,
deflate.
Wow.
See, now I know he doesn't like New England.
The only thing I like New England is the Bruins. So other than that, I could care less. I don't watch baseball. I do not like the Patriots. Period. Everybody in the world knows that. And I don't watch. And I don't watch basketball. I have no interest in basketball. Only hockey. Hockey is the thing. And I like that. And I'm from New England, and I'm a Steelers fan. I know Lonnie knows that.
Grinds my gears. I'm going to Cincy this weekend.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm staying here.
What for?
All right.
Yeah,
You're
what
going on the
for?
cruise too. I don't feel that sorry for it. When do you leave for the cruise, Andy?
I'm going to be down. I'm going to be down here at around at the Holiday Inn. I get in around noontime on Wednesday the 3rd, and then I gear up for the party that night. And then, oh my God, everybody asks every year. Been asking us, hey, is there anywhere to go party after the party's done at midnight? Because basically everything at midnight shuts down in that little area, unless you want to go take a cab, a $25 cab, and go way down to Miami. So people are like, hey, is there anything in the area? So I thought that I didn't even know it was there, but I found a bar, actually a pub, whatever they call it, Pub 1 Miami. It's like 3 blocks from the Holiday Inn. So I talked to them, and they're like, yeah, come on over. So basically, after we're done at the Holiday Inn at 12 o'clock, around 12:30, everybody's just going to march over to the Pub 1 and keep it going.
There you go.
Did you ask them what sort of jukebox and tunes they got there? Because do you really want to go in there and it to be YMCA and Rick Astley? That might
Alex might like it if it's
Alex.
Village.
Yeah, is he going?
Well, they do have a jukebox, and it's actually happened to be karaoke night. They got a pool table, they got the dartboard. So I mean, it's just basically it's the locals bar right downtown. So that's what it is. So they get a bunch of things. Nothing fancy. She said it. The one I talked to, she says nothing fancy. Just a
doesn't have to be for after midnight. So
no, there's only one issue I don't really keen about the place, and I can't. You can smoke in the bar, and that just kind of kills me.
Oh, really?
So I'll be there for about a half hour or so, and then I'm like, I gotta go because I can't breathe. I'm one of those people. I can't stand it. I don't want to smell it. I don't. But other than that, whatever.
So what are you looking forward to? We're going to do a show, obviously when people get back from the cruise. What are you looking forward to the most on this year's cruise? I mean, obviously your pre-party is exciting and cool, but once you're on the boat, what are the things that really get you all G'd up?
Well,
what gets your synapses firing, Andy?
Yeah. All right. First, there you go. See, you knew it. Lonnie's like, I know how to push the button now. The biggest thing is actually when you finally get on, you get your little key card. When you see that key card, it says Kiss on it, the Kiss Cruise, man, here we go. Everybody's all excited, jumping on the ship. And the biggest thing I think for me is, besides you meet friends, old friends, who's saying, is that, they actually moved it from the CLA show in the day. They moved it to nighttime this year, which is going to be at 9 o'clock, that's probably as Kiss-wise as the music-wise. That's, because we already know they're going to do the Creatures of the Night set list. Everybody keeps saying, oh, Gene said they're going to do the album. And I doubt it. I'd love to hear the full album, but I doubt it. So they're probably going to do the set list back from 82, 83. So we already know what they're going to play. But the Sail Away, that Night Sail Away show, Electric Sail Away, that's going to be the kicker because hopefully they dig deep again and they play stuff like they did last year. I mean, last year was probably one of the best sets because they come out with Flaming Youth to start. Everybody's just like, Flaming Youth, going out of their mind, So that's probably the big thing. But the first day is usually pretty stressful. Lonnie will tell you if you like collecting. If you're a collector, the first day is like insane.
You got to make sure you get down there and get your stuff because it's insane.
Oh, if you
don't get it, you don't get it, and it's gone.
Yeah, this is how it's going this year too because you figure, because Lonnie's been through this. They can't sell anything until they get like 5 miles out to sea. It's some kind of law. So they can't open any of the shops. So Kiss is playing at 9. The ship leaves, say, at 4:30. So about 4:45, okay? So now they have, like, DJ Noises playing. So you're going to have people roaming around. Now that this year they have this penny, what they call, the penny pinches. You guys ever seen them? You go places, you put in like 50 cents, you put in a penny, and it squishes out. And it squishes out. Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this year they made Kiss ones. So you think how long that line's got? One penny at a time, and it costs you $3, 8 plus your penny.
And are there like 5 different ones then too? You got to get probably 4. Oh, yeah, see,
each guy. So a set's going to cost you, $12 plus 4 cents. You imagine how long those lines been? And then they moved the merchandise store. Remember, it was all on the top deck in the gallery area, whatever the hell they call it. Well, now they moved it down, I guess, to the 5th or 6th floor. Oh, Jesus! You imagine that? And then you have the casino chips that go.
The casino chips, you got to get those too.
And those things go fast. So
those things you got to get those like the first day.
Yeah, you basically you have to get everything in the first day and split yourself into millions parts, or you got to have friends. You beg them. You go in line for me. I go in line for you. Plus, who knows if they're gonna release the first Kiss cup? Because everybody goes mad for the cups. Everybody's two-fisted. You're telling people, just take the card out of my pants.
It's more stressful than a vacation.
The first day is completely out of control.
First day is mayhem.
and plus the drill. You got to do the drill at 3 o'clock. That's the fire drill they do. Muster drill, they call it. So you go to your muster station. As soon as that muster drill is done, it's a stampede. I don't know how the hell they're going to stop everybody from running up the stairs. Everybody's like, oh, nobody's going to run to the front of the stage. I got news for you. Last year, because they didn't do the show, so they had to delay it. So they did it like the next morning, or I should say the next day. So, but basically, I got up at 4 a.m. in the morning, went there and stood in front of Gene's mic all day long, 12, 13, 14 hours, I thought.
Jesus.
And you guys think there's something where
That's dedication.
That's a hell of a vacation. I'm just going to stand here the next 13 hours.
You think I'm bad? I actually took a chair and he actually sat in front of Paul's mic the whole night and he went like this. He fell asleep in the... Because it was just Kiss Cruise, and he had heard about all this stuff that goes on, so he didn't want to miss anything. So he basically sat there the whole time and slept in the chair. I met him at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's brutal hot. I hate the heat. It sucks. It's like
pee. What's the protocol if you got to pee when you're sitting there at 4 in the morning? Do you get someone to watch your spot, or do you just
bottle with you? Or?
Kiss cup. You get your Kiss cup.
You just go.
Kiss cup.
Just go, dude.
No, last year was very cool. Everybody in the area was, really cool. So by about noontime, though, man, the places started to get packed. But everybody started talking to each other, knew each other. And he says, oh, I got to, if I got to go to the bathroom, can you order? Or I got to get some food. Come back, bring me back some pizzas on the big plates. People were doing that. But here's the big thing. Last year, what happened because it was a pre-party the night before. Mm-hmm. So people could get on the pre-party, pay the extra, and then the people who didn't, they come back, they pick them up, right? Well, it was funny. I won't mention his name. One of the guys from Six Man come over and said, "Hey, you guys can't stay in here all day." We looked at him. We've already been here for 8 hours. I'm not moving now, dude. But he's like, "You guys are gonna get heat stroke, and you can't be here." And everybody looked at him and goes,
"Heat stroke. I'm standing here."
Yeah. And he goes, "You guys can't stay in here." He goes, "I'm gonna come back and check on you. You guys better be drinking plenty of water and stuff like that." So when he left, people would take turns and they'd go up to wherever the people with waters, and they'd get trays of waters, and they'd walk them back in. So people would switch off to do it because they knew that Six Man was going to come back and say, "You can't stay in here all day. I already told you that." And everybody's like, "We're not moving," And then he said, "Oh, what about the people coming on the ship today?"
The hell with them.
You should have been here before. Paid your money, get your butt here. So it's kind of. So I don't know what they're going to do this year, but how can you stop people from? Because Lonnie said it's just a big stage, and then there's a barrier, and it's just wide open. Mm-hmm. What are they going to have? Somebody from Six Man or whatever go? They're going to put up a little. It doesn't matter. You're still going to have, no matter what they're going to do, no matter what they do, people are going to be hanging around somewhere. And as soon as they say get up to this stage, or you can't get up to this stage, people are going to be like, woof, right there.
That's how when they did that fire drill thing. I mean, people when they got done with that, it was just a mad rush to the stage. Like Andy said, I'm surprised someone didn't just get trampled because, I mean, you know how Kiss fans are. And if you get the chance to be front row at an acoustic or, unmasked Kiss show, these people, I mean, you guys know how Kiss fans are. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's no holds barred. I mean, I told my wife, I was like, all right, let's go. I go, grab my hand and don't let go of my hand.
Yeah, I did to somebody else. Yeah, I told I told my mother went the second year. I'm like, me and my friend want to run up. What do you want to do? She goes, I'll go hang around with his girlfriend and the other thing, and we're just gonna casually go up there. I says, you don't care? It's okay if I go, right? I go, okay, because long legs, man. I can jump about 10 stairs going up. And I never, as much as I ran up there, man, I didn't run anybody over to that point. Because there were people that were getting, basically pushed out of the way, pushed on the stairs. There's one thing I never did. If somebody was in me, there, I just casually just strolled around him and then kept going. There was no way. I mean, it's one thing of getting up there if you wanted to get up there, but this year, I'm not doing that. I got my mother and my girlfriend going. They're short anyways. We're just going to hang, basically, if you don't get in that front row, because even if you see the pictures of the front row, you see there's me, there's a couple other people, and all of a sudden you see this big gap go down like this, and all of a sudden everybody's like, where's that open spot? I'm like, there's my girlfriend. She's not even 5 feet tall, and she's like looking up the whole, when Kiss came on, she's like, holy crap, I can't almost see. And I'm like, well, we're going to stand back this year and just kind of more enjoy the, just kind of laid back further back,
I got to say, you're not a good salesman. You've done everything to persuade me that is not my scene. Thank you, thank you so much. I've wanted to go. I've would love to go, but that's not my scene in this.
Yeah, but the thing, you can stand back, as Lonnie knows. People just stand back.
Some people do. Some people are more casual about it, but I mean, you have the hardcore Kiss fans though too. The guy walking by me with arm full of cups, that he's gonna go stick in his luggage to stick up on eBay when he gets home. That's just the guy. I want to elbow and That's what my buddy's like. My buddy does all the Kiss stuff with me. He's like, man, I'd love to go on the cruise, but my problem with going on the cruise would be I'd be trapped on a boat with Kiss fans for 5 days, and I don't know if I could do it. And he's as nutty as I am, or as nutty as Andy.
Just because there is so much to do, so much to collect, and kind of these things to get, it's just like it's a rat maze for me, and being on a boat. No thanks. Vegas, going to Monster Mini Golf. Now that sounds fun to me. Yeah. Because I don't gamble, so going to Vegas and doing something like that, I'm actually one of those people who could just play multiple rounds of mini golf, listening to Kiss tunes, and they had a good beer selection and nice colors.
That was the best part about the mini golf course. You could drink beer while you were doing it. It was fantastic,
and it's fun. It's a nice atmosphere, and that's more my speed. And maybe I'm just getting old. Really, really, really old. I'm not a committed enough Kiss fan anymore, obviously, to be able to find anything exciting about the cruise and what you've just described. Because
it's just that first day is very hectic and stressful about getting the stuff right away. Because, like Lonnie said too, the line for the merchandise is
crazy.
Right, but just even watching that, I would die of alcohol poisoning because I would just be doing slammers to numb myself from even seeing it. It's just...
There's people sitting there drinking all day or all day and all night, just waiting in line. But you have to get in line because if you want certain things, if you don't get them within that first night, 2 or 3 hours.
Wait, are you telling me that on a Kiss cruise in a hotel, there's no room service?
There's room service. You can get room service.
No, okay.
Drinking all day on the cruise. We got to get Andrew on here. He can talk to you about that. Holy smokes.
Who?
Andrew.
DJ? Andy the DJ?
No, little Andy Catman.
Little Andrew.
Yeah.
From Mr. Speed.
Mr. Speed. Drummer boy.
Oh, yeah. But there's some really good stuff. I mean, like this year, this is the first time ever. Lonnie's missed it out, too. They're going to have a Paul Stanley petting zoo this year. They just announced that.
Petting zoo? That sounds perverse.
I know. Well, he must have been to the Gene one, right? I've always said the Gene X petting zoo.
Right.
Now they get the Paul one coming on for the first year. That's different. That's pretty cool. I mean, and I do like the schedule. I mean, especially if you want to see everything that's Kiss wise. I mean, you know, there's other bands you can see here and there popping, you know, wherever if you get the open space, you know, besides if you want to eat food, you know. But the Kiss schedule is actually really good. They have it spaced out where you can actually take your time. You don't have to trample over people. You can actually get to the next event. Well, they have the next event, like Paul Stanley's, you know, the pizza thing is at 2 or 2:30, and then Gene's thing is at 3:30 in the same, you know, in the theater. So, I mean, it's not like you have to run here or run there or things overlap too much, as Kiss-wise overlap. So you have the time to get to those things. So, which is really good this year. I think they finally figured that issue out because that used to be a big issue.
Yeah,
you know,
the more the more they've done this, the more they
help.
figured out. So, what was that? An extra day?
Yeah, there's an extra day on the cruise as opposed to
five. Yeah, 5 this year.
Cool.
And you go to Cozumel, so you can get off the ship and get away from the Kiss fans if you want. Well, depending, you know, I'm having a bar crawl. That's always a fun thing. And then going to Cayman Islands, you know, the Cayman Islands are very nice. So you can get away and go do things if you want. So.
Well, for those doing it, you know, while I've said it doesn't sound like it's my scene, you know, do have a blast, have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really looking forward to doing the show, you know, when everyone
Get
gets
you
back.
and Michael on for a recap.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna try to go. I'm gonna try to go live before we leave because you know you're on the ship probably by. Depending on when they start letting everybody actually on, but last year they let everybody on pretty quick because I left the hotel. The hotel started picking us up around 10:30, and basically we were like almost like right on the ship. They had right on, so they got really good started. So, and they're not leaving port until about I don't know. I think it's 4:30. So, you know, he's still basically still on land kind of. So maybe try to go live for a little while and walk around and say, "Here we go. Look, this is what's going on." You can see people lining up.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
Even a booze. They actually have booze packages this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
I can't imagine what that's going to be. You know,
Messy.
Yeah, because everybody in your cabin has. If you buy the booze,
Everybody in your cabin has to.
cabin
Right?
has to buy the booze thing. You know, no, thank you. Well, you can't do that anyways with my crew, but that's all good. You don't need to drink that. Just have a good time anyways.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's pills.
Huh? What you say?
Julian, like a real pro.
I just, you know, just
Alternatives.
just went all 70s on you. No, you don't.
I missed that one right over my head.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you know, you don't need to drink.
A lot of water. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. No.
I'm serious. It's too hot. You know. I think that's the big thing too. By all these years, baby, by day 4, everybody looks great and wonderful, and by day 4, by the end of the time, when everybody's getting off the ship, Lonnie will test this.
Yeah, because you're like a zombie because you haven't slept in 4 days.
Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. You know, just get the hell out of my way. Because, you know, that's why everybody's got their luggage in their hands, and they're, when you got to leave? Damn it, I want to, you know, everybody's trying to say goodbyes, and people are crying, and you know, because you don't never know if this is going to be it. You know, every year they say, oh, we're going to have a next cruise. You know, next year they already said that supposedly they're going to have a next one. Now they're saying it might be from a different port. You know, but you never know what can happen to it in a year either. You know, the guys could change their minds.
Hey,
Somebody could get sick. You know, so
the money might be that good that this will be what they're doing after they stop touring. You know, this might be. This might be what they. Okay, it's our five days of Kiss fans.
One big payday every year.
Yeah. You know, so who knows? It just gets a little bit more expensive. All right, let's bring the show to a wrap.
One second. I wonder. Yeah, I love this. I wonder if Gene and Paul, after this is like the cruise is done, they go into a room and they start counting the money. I made more than you did. I made more than you did. Cruise because they both have their own, you know, sell the guitar stuff and you know their microphones and axes and you know the petting things and the acoustic. You know, Gene's got his special thing and Paul got his special electric thing. And if you buy a commemorative, there's so many different things. I wonder if they like compete again. And they sit there going, hey. I made more money than you did this year. I made more money than you this year.
I doubt it. They probably just go in, high five each other, and go ka-ching. You know?
Bunch of suckers.
Hey, you know, I still think the Paul Stanley pizza thing's cool, but I'd like to see him do some real cooking. You know.
His pizza's awful. I said it. That's terrible.
All right.
God,
on that happy note, let's bring this one to a wrap. That was topic roulette. We didn't know what was coming. I've still got a few more of these these little squares from previous topics, and I think we'll do this again sometime soon. But for now, we do appreciate you listening to our show. Do join us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Spreaker, on the FAQ message board for the topics, and chime in with your opinions of what we've talked about today. Who would you most like to meet from the band that you haven't met? Who surprised you that you did meet? Similar to the stories that we've had, because everyone's been lucky to meet other people and have their own special occasions to reminisce about. So we thank you for listening. Join us next time. From Andy, from Lonnie.
Happy Halloween! If I miss you, happy Halloween, everybody!
Thanks for listening. Bye now. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.